Kathy Vick, deeply awake. To start, I want to honor my son. He just loves that I'm a granny. He just digs it so much. He reminds me with regularity that I am a granny. He'll say, "Oh, you're so little," and I love it when you get all bundled up like that, Mom, and things like that. And he was telling me about how I grew up in the 80s, the 1880s. It went on and on. It was so much fun. Anyway, he's funny, and he reminds me that I am indeed aged. It's funny to actually be the elder, because I've lived my whole life knowing I'm the elder. And, I was not the happiest child, and one of the reasons was no one took me seriously. I figured I'd have to be around in my 20s before anybody would take me seriously. I mean, I remember having that thought when I was like 7 and beating all the adults at Scrabble. And Dad would go, "I can't believe you beat us at Scrabble." Well, you let me fly, so there you go. That's what you get. That competitive nature is not in me anymore, but it wasn't a competition. It was just I had permission to play well, and I excelled. So that was how that was. But and then I hit my 20s and realized, I'm not going to be taken seriously because I'm a woman now. Oh, I see how this is. Okay. Yeah. My sister and I both preferred writing. I think she did it for a while, or she was going to, or whatever. Writing, she did, with just her initials, because she didn't want to be judged as inferior right out of the gate because of her name. So, yeah. Being a smarty pants girl is its own reward. I'm realizing this is coming to a close. I mean, that's been obvious, and of course there's been strains of that. Oh, it's ending. Yeah. And I realize that maybe one of the reasons it's been going on as long as it has is because I get lonely. Is that okay with you? It's not that I can't access this anywhere else. I can, obviously. But here is where I come to purify it and to celebrate it. And I like that. So why wouldn't I want more of that? I mean, not obsessively, in balance, but why would I want to turn it down? That's, I think, one of the questions that really probably should be asked. Why the need to disown it and run away from it? Partly because I have other projects, and it's I consider this a project. And although certainly it's the big project, maybe that's how I need to see it. Deeply Awake is it. And that's how I've kind of always seen it. It's the umbrella, and underneath that, on my website, my name, not Deeply Awake, my name. There's Deeply Awake, but there are other things. There's my book Songs, and there's Patrick Hears Voices. There's a book I want to write on memory and love found late in life. It's a meditation of what's reality and what's memory and what's true about self and what. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And I have an erotica book I want to write, and I have it's hot. And I've got comedy I want to write. I want to write a book about, there's a group of people who live in a house. I want to continue that. Not Patrick, but a group of women who are, it's really cool. And it's just, that's kind of why. But I guess a part of it is I feared I'd be lonely. And I'm pottering around, just thoroughly celebrating this decadence, because I have things I should be doing. And rather than attending to those, I'm doing this, which reminds me, I have this sweater on. That's why I thought about Sam, because I have two sweaters on. I'm a little old lady sitting in a chair, like that. And I was thinking about Sam, but I was pulling this on, thinking people are going to think I didn't pay my electric bill, and that was just one of the really, really, really horrific pieces of news I got on whatever day the crap storm happened, that I owed like $200 to public service because I hadn't paid my bill since August. Oops. Thank you for being so cool for all this time. Shit. Yeah, I kind of let things go. Another reason why. But this project is my process. So I just did the math, and it would appear that since April 17, when all this began, there's a total of 259 videos available. I don't believe that all of them are deeply awake. I think that one or two, I have a friend, and I think that there's one that's my son, and I think I have a couple that are channeled things that other people. But even if it's 250, I did the math. That's like 31 or 32 videos a month. That's a video a day. And some of these are long. And so for me, it showed me in number form the dedication that I have shown and how I have shown up for myself in 2016. And in so doing, how I've shown up for others. I was ham-handed and I bumbled at the beginning, coming from this place of really feeling kind of angered that people wanted anything from me, because I really had this separation of on my off hours. No one comes to me with a problem. Nuh-uh. And I still kind of feel that way. Unless you've got cash in your hand, we're not going to be actively only talking about your issues. And if it's going to be like that, then I need cash, because you're treating me like a reader or a therapist or a life coach. And I get put in that position, or I did so often, that I became kind of defensive, and inappropriately so, I would say. So I'm sorry to those who might have felt offended by the strength of my no. It's taken me some time to figure out if how to manage all of this. But I see now, this really is, I've been thinking lately when I go to gatherings or I meet a stranger, well, what do you do? Doesn't that ever come up? Does it ever come up for you? So what do you do? I usually say, what do you do to keep the lights on, or whatever? What's your passion? And where do you work? They're usually two different things. 9 times out of 10. That 10th is a charmer, but yeah, 9 times out of 10. Well, I create mandalas using, I don't know, body fluids, and they glow in the dark, and yeah, I'm a mail carrier. Whatever. It's like that, usually. So how do I present myself? That's the question. And so, although I haven't in company or with strangers done it yet, my intention is the next time I'm asked that, just sort of point blank, stranger to stranger kind of thing, is say I'm an author. And if they want to know more, then I can tell them more about the authoring, and if they're interested, then I can mention this behemoth career that I lumber around with. But that's not who I am. That's what I had to do. That was my karma. That was my marriage. Yeah. I figured that one out. Who's been around? Who's been consoling me and welcoming me and loving me and instructing me and protecting me this lifetime? Because certainly there was no man who stepped up and could hang with it. Thank you, Jerry, for trying, but we weren't. Couldn't really find that correct combination. Or could I? Or did I? I think I'm very well mated. And I've been grieving the loss of my partner for a while now. But I see now that in the midst of the transition, something new was there all along. Consoling me, embracing me even deeper, teaching me even more. So, the passing away of one life, beginning of another, the definition of ascension, right? And that's a project. It's a process. And a process, well, that doesn't necessarily mean a beginning, middle, and end. That, to our linear mind, that's the most satisfying and has symmetry and all that. Completion is so important to us. Symmetry is important to the DNA. Symmetry is that's mental health. That's really important. Symmetry. And it's not a linear symmetry I'm talking about. So I was wondering about this loneliness question and understanding that, I might still be kind of talky. We still have the solstice. We still have Christmas Eve. We still have the glorious and welcome event of 2016 closing. I usually tend to like Januaries and Februaries are like smooth as glass for me. It's my birth month. They can be bumpy, but they're blessed. For me. And there's something in March. Something in March. Everything's different in April. Yeah. And I don't know what that is. I have I have my data, but I don't know. So I see this laid out, and a critic would say, "Well, that's a Pygmalion effect. You're making it come to pass by thinking about it." And what I'm actually doing is just reporting what I see and feel. So just so we're clear about that, because obviously, if there's one person who can just with a smile and a tear say, "Yeah, well, plans change," it'd be me. Things change. But as I see it right now, so yeah, I may have a few words, and looking at this bigger, realizing that this actually may just be more of a general. Well, I always knew this was sort of my trademark, that you could expect fantastical things. How could you not? How could I not? So, I don't know how to get there, but every day I seem to be getting closer. So I wanted to discuss a stray thought that was ping, like a pop bubble. Boop. Oh, I want more of that. The tail end of this last video that I was driving down Colfax last night. The idea about yes and no. But really, no becomes a bit of a... Yeah, it's nice to have in your back pocket. And it's really, really super important to be totally down with using it when it's appropriate. And it's really great, Kath, that you know now when it's appropriate. So, rock on. But as a result of that, realizing that it's really more about just my yeses. Where do I go from here? It's about yes. It's not about bumping into no's and bumping into no's and you know, feeling cut apart. No. Just about moving toward yeses, doing what lights up. And this was with a companion thought, a further amplification of that question, when are you healed? And I get sometimes this aversion to the idea of healing because it implies that I'm broken. It implies that I was ever effed up. It implies that I was less than perfect. It implies that I was wrong. And, you know, from there you can take it all the way down the line to bad and stupid and all that stuff too. I just don't think it's the best way of looking at it. And I don't really want to think about walking around now thinking myself healed of what great affliction being a human being, being in misunderstanding. From the beginning. No shame. I would be given an understanding of what I misunderstood something. Ooh, I was holding great contempt for someone. Oh my gosh, there was no reason to feel that. Look at what they were going through. Oh my. And they would come and say, well, you see, this is a misunderstanding, dear. This is a simple misunderstanding. This is in the realm of there is skilled and unskilled behavior. And there are misunderstandings that lead to haywire stuff that we can identify and goof on, sure, because you're part of it. But almost done. The idea here is that there is no such thing really when dealing with it honestly as healing. There's acknowledgement and release of something that isn't real. Phantasms. Fears. The light has come up. I'm simply a canary. I've always said that. I'm like a reverse canary, and I sing when I see light, and I'm singing, you guys. And I come to you because I know when one does this work, it affects many. I'm not the only one who knows that. I have very dear friends who also know that. And so we take our healing, we take our coming to center and loving ourselves as a great responsibility for mankind. Because by coming into center and coming home within, then we are magnetically entangled with others. We are quantumly entangled with many. And when we raise our frequency, our amperage, it affects many. And when many of us gather together in body or in mind, when we gather and we acknowledge who and what we are and are made of and represent, what can't we do? I feel so drawn to pull people together right now. I know I have a platform to do so. It's important. We have to get together, more of us, intentionally, with great love and good common sense. With the wisdom of the ages and the indulgence of a grandmother. The sight of an ancient. And the inner light of a Buddha. It is important to be in community. It is important to do this work with peers. It's time. So, a new day dawns and a new year approaches. And nothing but good lies ahead. Look into my eyes. Let my soul talk to your soul. When I say, this is a magnificent moment to be physical. It is an honor. It is a responsibility. And though it may feel like a burden, that is lower mind. That is a simple misunderstanding of your purpose, your worth, and your place. A simple misunderstanding, and that's all. In this moment, in this space, do you really feel like you need a healing? There's nothing to heal when you remember who you are. So to close, I'll tell you, yeah, it's a process. It's a project. And it eases loneliness. Sure. You hear me mention that I just noticed this one day. I just thought, it was just, I don't know, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, this random, stray, really strong thought. Golly, I just wish I had someone to hold right now. Oh, I wish there was someone waiting for me at home who would just love me up. Oh, my body, my skin is stinging. Ow. And I realized as part of this whole process of, it's completing law. That's why I want to call this piece, saving the best for last, my thing for God. I don't talk about it because people have really strong negative feelings about God. And so I don't share what I know. But I am in such adoration and love. Oh God, so much love for God. And I just have to think about God and I'm filled. Body shivers. I said I'd figure out a strategy, didn't I? Yeah, it dawned on me. I don't ever feel lonely when I think about God. I just feel happy. and full. Like really full. So that's what I'm going to do. But I don't have to wait until I sting. And that makes me very unusual. And I put that away for a really, 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 really long time. Because, it's not acceptable. People who love God as much as I do, they're supposed to be in nunneries. They're not supposed to be in the general population. I've always known that. But I'm going to stop denying myself my finest pleasure. So, yeah, there's a part of me that knows that I'm loving myself, okay? I know I'm God, la. But this me, this flesh suit me, can only simply appreciate what I'm talking about. Just take my word for it. That's all I have to say. I don't need a healing. I never did.